Hi ladies, my name is Joyce Ann Washington. I'm a certified life coach, author, and self-empowerment entrepreneur. I work with women who feel stuck and unfulfilled in their lives, identify their passion, remove any negative self-beliefs, and take actionable steps towards the life that they desire. So if that sounds like you, please click on the link below for a free 30-minute coaching call with me. And if you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, that will be linked below too. Lastly, if you would like to get a free mini ebook on how you can use the Dream and Action steps to start taking action towards the life that you desire, that will be linked below too. Alright, so today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a two-part video. It's just my story so that you can get to know me a little bit better. So I hope that this helps you get to know me better. I also have a bunch of other get to know me videos on my channel, but this one is a more in-depth story of who I am and where I came from. Also, if you would like to check out the interview that I did with Aaron Lodge here on YouTube, you can know a little bit more about me. I don't know, I just like to share about who I am. So thank you so much for watching, and let's get into the video. So, who am I? Side note, I am reading my notes, so if you see me not looking at the camera, that is why. My name is Joyce Ann Washington, and I'm a certified life coach and an author. But how did I get here, and what is my story? So, growing up, I was born with a condition, I guess you could say. I had a bump on my eye that was basically like the size of a meatball. And because of that, a lot of people would stare at me, and I would get bullied a lot of the times. And obviously, if someone's getting bullied, you want to like be invisible. You don't want people to keep on looking at you, and you don't want to keep on being like this weird girl who is like a spectacle. So I would start to like make myself invisible. I would get smaller. I wouldn't do a lot of talking, but people would still obviously see me because of the condition that I had. So my sophomore year of high school, I surgically got the bump removed, and that was really exciting for me. But then negative thoughts got in my head, and I started to think to myself, oh, people don't like me anyways. Like, people are just gonna think that I think I'm so special just because I got this bump removed. Why should I even try to like step outside of my shell? Why should I even be happy when I'm so unlikable, you know? Because I was bullied for so long that I just thought that people didn't like me, and I couldn't make any friends, and so why even try? Because of that, I continued to make myself invisible. Even though I had the bump removed, I still like remained in my shell. I still tried to like not be seen and not stand out a lot of the time. But I was just extremely negative throughout high school. Around my senior year, I was ready to graduate and go off to college, and I just decided I didn't want to live this life of just like negativity and unhappiness all of the time. And then I had this idea that I wanted to start a nonprofit. And I wanted to start a nonprofit because I wanted to work with youth of color, African American youth, who like felt invisible, and help them really stand in their own power and be themselves and feel safe to be themselves, and just create this environment where youth could just be their authentic self and live the life that they truly deserved. Now I've graduated from high school, and I'm going off into college with the idea of, okay, I'm going to start this nonprofit, but obviously I'm like, I don't know, 18 at the time, so I'm not sure how to start a nonprofit. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, so what am I going to do to get towards creating that nonprofit? So I thought to myself, all right, well, I will be a therapist for teenagers while I'm like gaining skills and things like that on how to really talk to youth. So I went into school for psychology, and at that same time I was still like really working on myself and really working on like being a more positive, more happy person. So I worked with, I guess, a mentor, and he really worked with me to, you know, start saying like positive affirmations and like understanding that there are things that I cannot control. But because I've always lived my life through the lens of that negativity, it was really hard to like start shifting my mindset. I was really battling trying to be a more positive person while in college. I had a friend my freshman year of college, but second semester she decided that she wanted to move back home to Texas. And we were in Wisconsin at the time. So she wanted to move back home to Texas. So around the second semester of my freshman year of college, I ended up, you know, being isolated. And because she was my only friend, I no longer had that friend to hang out with, and I was back in this like negative space. So I ended up writing a letter to myself, just like, okay, like what do I want my sophomore year to be like? And I wrote the kind of friends that I wanted to have and how I wanted to feel with my friends. Now it's my sophomore year, and I'm in a different light. You know, I'm thinking more positively. I'm like taking more control of my life, and I'm like going out more and like being myself, just being my silly, chatty self. And I'm making new friends, and I'm like, wow, this is fun. I'm like meeting people, and I'm really excited. But they weren't really the kind of friends I wanted. Like the kind of things that they were doing wasn't the things that I like to do. Like they liked partying and drinking, and I didn't like doing that. So I kept on, you know, going out and meeting new people. And I ended up making friends that were more aligned with what it is that I wanted, and they were the friends that I wrote in my like letter to myself on what kind of friends that I wanted. So now I have friends. Again, it's my sophomore year. I'm feeling, you know, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling good about myself, saying like these positive self affirmations and things. And I ended up writing and publishing my first book. I'm still a sophomore, and I still want to work with youth. I still want to create this nonprofit, but at some point I was just like, I don't really want to be a therapist anymore, because I didn't want to just like talk to people all the time. I wanted to take more action when it came to helping people, and I just didn't want to talk about feelings all the time. So I talked to my guidance counselor, and I figured out, okay, so what is it that I can do that is more action oriented but still helping youth? And we came up with social work. So at this time, I have my friends. I decided I don't want to be a therapist anymore, and I want to be a social worker. And now it's the summer between my sophomore year of college and my junior year of college. And so I'm like, okay, like what's my summer job? What do I want to do? And this opportunity came up where I was able to work at a summer camp in New York. And I've always wanted to go to New York City, so I was like, when the opportunity came, I was like, yes, I'll take it. So life is good. Life is great. Got my friends, going to New York, got a book published. I'm feeling a little different. Okay, so now I'm back from New York, and it's my junior year of college. So at the time, I had wrote in my journal that summer 2017, I wanted to study abroad in London. So that would be between my junior and senior year. And I wanted to, you know, still be that social worker, because I was trying to get those skills together to work with youth to start the nonprofit. So I ended up interning with a high school social worker. I like went to school in a really small town, so it was only like one high school there. And I really didn't like the feeling that I got from being a social worker. Working with the youth was great. It was nice to meet new people, but it felt emotionally draining. And I don't know, it just felt like it didn't feel right for me. So yes, I enjoyed working with the youth, but it was emotionally draining. Well, at that same time, the opportunity arose that I could study abroad in London, summer 2017. Again, like I said, I wrote in my journal that I wanted to study abroad summer 2017. So when the opportunity arrived, do you know what I did? Do you know what I did? Yes, I took the opportunity. So, so now I am studying abroad in London, but I don't really know what it is that I want to do with my life. I know what I want to start this nonprofit. I do not know how to get there. And I don't really know what it is that I want. So my senior year comes up, and now I don't know what I want. I've published a book. I've gone to London. I've gone to New York, and I'm about to graduate and have no career path. So obviously I was very nervous, because it's like, oh my God, like I had all these plans and things like that, and now I don't even know what I want. So I started to like look up different grad programs on like how I could work with youth. And I found this program, and it seemed like something that I really wanted to do. And so I applied and I got accepted. But as time went on, I realized that I really didn't want to go to grad school. I enjoyed learning. I do not like formal education. That's not something that I want for myself. But I got accepted, you know, I applied, and it just seemed like the logical best next steps. So between college graduation and grad school, I have some free time. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I got married my senior year of college, and so me and my husband at the time, we decided that we were going to go work in California at a summer camp because I enjoyed working at the summer camp in New York. It was a really great experience. So I was like, yeah, this would be fun. We both like youth work. So, you know, we go to California. Long story short, we did not stay in California and our marriage did not last. So I am back at square one. I don't know what my next steps are. I know I want to start this nonprofit. I do not know how to start a nonprofit. I also do not want to go to grad school. So I talked to my mentor, the same person that I was working with my freshman year of college, and I'm like, wow, my life is in shambles. I do not know what to do. And he was like, oh, you want to start this nonprofit? Well, here's an opportunity. You can go to Minnesota and learn about nonprofit management. And I was like, great, I'll take it. So I decided that I was going to pick my life up and I was going to move to Minnesota for 10 months to like learn about nonprofit management. And that was a great, like, that was cool until I was looking for a home and I got scammed out of $1,200. Okay. So now I'm in shambles again. I'm like, wow, okay, so what did I do wrong? My mentor again, and I'm just like, okay, so got scammed. I don't know. I don't have a place to stay. I really want to go to Minnesota. I really want to start my life. I want to get my life in alignment. I want to start this nonprofit. I just want to get my life together. So he was able to find me an apartment, which was great. And I only had like $200 in my bank account. I had to use like a lot of credit to pay off my first half of the rent and half of the security deposit. And so I was able to move to Minnesota. So yay. So now I'm in this program and I'm learning about nonprofit management and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know what? I want to work on my public speaking because I've always been like a goal-oriented person. So I always just like write my goals down and then I take, you know, the actionable steps that I need to take to reach that goal. I started doing a lot of different workshops and things like that with youth on like, you know, stress management and social emotional learning and things like that. And so that was a really great experience. I ended up being the keynote for the commencement for my high school, my old high school that I had went to and graduated from. I got to be the keynote speaker for that and it was really exciting. All right, good evening everyone.
Good evening.
Where's my wallet? As a reminder, like I said, I spent most of my life trying to be invisible, so it was really empowering and it was really exciting to just be up there in front of all those people and just like share my story. But now it's the end of the 10 months and the program that I was a part of, like learning about nonprofit management, had ended and I am back at square one. I don't know exactly what it is that I want to do with my life. I know I want to start this nonprofit. I don't know how, like what to do now. So I ended up getting like a 9-to-5 job. I'm working in direct service with youth. It was okay, but I just knew that I had more to offer the world. Like I didn't want to work for $15 an hour. I didn't want to keep on doing direct service. I had been doing direct service from my sophomore year of college to then. So it was basically like 5 years of me doing direct service working with youth. And I was just like emotionally drained. I didn't really like my job. I spent like mostly every day crying at home or crying in the bathroom at my job. Just like, oh, like how do I get unstuck? Like how do I get out of here? How do I start living the life that I want? So I started doing research and things like that, and I learned about life coaching. So it was different from therapy because I didn't just have to talk about people's feelings. We could talk about your feelings and then start taking actionable steps towards reaching a goal that you wanted to achieve. And it wasn't emotionally draining like social work. So I got my life coaching certification, but I kept on working at the job that I was at. And I don't know, because I was just crying so much and I just really didn't like my job, I ended up quitting my job and moving back to my hometown to really work on the nonprofit that I wanted to create, because I had the like tools and stuff like that from working in the program. So I was like, great, I'll work on my goals. I'll work on something that empowers me and makes me feel more free.